My wife hired someone to spy on me. Just making sure you're safe, she claimed when I found the tracker. I said nothing, just played along. 3 days later, she was screaming on the phone when 35M, married Rachel, 33F 3 years ago. Been together for 5. No kids, thank God. I work as a systems analyst for a mid-sized tech company. She's in HR for a pharma corp. Last Tuesday, I was doing routine maintenance on my car when I found it. A small GPS tracker, professionally installed under the rear bumper. At first, I thought maybe it was from the dealership or something, but after some Googling, no. This was high-end surveillance equipment. The kind that costs serious money. My hands were shaking as I held that device. My first instinct was to confront her immediately, but something made me pause. If she was willing to go this far, what else had she done? Instead of confronting her, I decided to play detective myself. Called my buddy Kevin, who works in security, had him check it out discreetly. He confirmed it was activated 3 months ago and linked to a monitoring service. The account, registered under my mother-in-law's name, Eleanor, 62F. Classic Rachel, always using her mom for everything. But here's where it gets interesting. I logged into our shared phone plan to check something unrelated and noticed she'd been texting a number a lot. Like 150 plus texts in the past week alone. Did a reverse lookup, the number belonged to a private investigator. That night, while Rachel was in the shower, I downloaded a backup of her texts. We have each other's passwords for emergencies, ironic, right? What I found made my blood run cold. She'd hired this guy to follow me, track my car, even try to access my work email. Her reason? She was worried about my safety because I work late sometimes. The text showed something else, though. She was convinced I was cheating. Zero evidence, just woman's intuition according to her messages. The PI kept telling her he found nothing suspicious, but she kept pushing him to dig deeper. Some of her texts. Check his office again tomorrow. Maybe he's meeting her during lunch. I know something's going on. Install cameras if you have to. The PI actually seemed uncomfortable, kept trying to convince her to trust me. Her response, I'm paying you to find evidence, not give me marriage advice. So I kept quiet. What about my normal routine? Even made sure to text her my exact whereabouts like usual. Working late again, babe, project deadline. Meanwhile, I was preparing. I contacted a divorce lawyer, showed him everything. He advised me to document everything and gather more evidence. Over the next 3 days, I took photos of the tracker, saved all her texts with a PI, checked our home for cameras, found 3 hidden cameras, downloaded our financial records, made copies of important documents. 3 days later, she came home to find me sitting at the dining table with printouts of everything spread out like a crime scene investigation. Her face went white. Care to explain? I asked calmly. I was just worried about you. The long hours, the dash. Cut the bullshit, Rachel. I read the text. She tried to flip it. If you have nothing to hide, why are you so angry? Because you hired a fucking private investigator instead of talking to me like an adult. That's when I dropped the real bomb. I'm meeting with a divorce attorney tomorrow. This is over. She started screaming. Called me paranoid, said I was overreacting. Then came the tears. I just love you so much, I couldn't bear to lose you. Her mom called within minutes, demanding I stop being dramatic. Apparently, Rachel had already spun the story to make herself the victim. Eleanor, your name is on the GPS tracker account. You're an accomplice to stalking. I choose my next words very carefully. Silence. Then, she just loves you. No, she's controlling and paranoid. And you enabled it. I'm staying at a hotel now. Half our friends think I'm the asshole for not working through it. The other half are shocked she'd do something so invasive. But here's the thing, if she'd just asked me about her concerns, we could have talked. Instead, she spent thousands on surveillance and involved her mother in spying on me. Trust is dead. We'll update when I have more. Update 1 posted 3 days later. Wow, this blew up. Thanks for all the support. Some of you called this would get worse. You were right. Since my last post, Rachel has gone full psycho. Here's what happened. First, she drained our joint checking account. Just emptied it. $7,832 gone. When I called her, she said it was her money too, and she needed it for a lawyer. The bank confirmed she withdrew it in cash. Then she changed the locks on our house. Came home from work to find my key didn't work. All my stuff was in trash bags on the lawn. My work laptop, clothes, personal items, just dumped outside. Some of it was damaged. My gaming console was clearly dropped. Some work files were soaked. It had rained. Even family photos were torn. Her brother Marcus, 29M, was there, standing guard like some wannabe bouncer. Rachel says you're not welcome here anymore. This is my house too, Marcus. Not anymore, cheater. I didn't cheat. Sure, that's what they all say. I called the cops. 2 officers showed up. I showed them my ID with the address. They made her let me in to get essentials, but she followed me around screaming that I was stealing my own belongings. The officers had to repeatedly tell her to back off. While I was packing with police present, I showed them the 3 hidden cameras I'd found earlier. Both officers were very interested, especially when I mentioned the divorce proceedings. They took photos and told me to inform my lawyer. Rachel tried to claim they were for home security, but when asked why they were hidden behind wall decorations and vents, she had no good answer. My lawyer is having a field day. Apparently in our state, her surveillance without consent is very illegal. We're adding it to the divorce filing. Her family is now in full attack mode. Her dad, Robert, called my boss trying to get me fired, claiming I'm mentally unstable and a danger to the workplace. My boss called me into his office, more confused than anything. Tom, what the hell is going on? Your father-in-law just spent 20 minutes ranting about your criminal behavior. I showed him the divorce filing, the police report. He shook his head. Take a few days off, sort this out. Your job's safe. Her sister Jessica made a Facebook post about how I'm an abusive narcissist who isolated Rachel from her family. The comments were wild. Half were her friends agreeing blindly. The other half were mutual friends defending me, pointing out that I literally hosted every holiday dinner. The irony? I'm the one who encouraged her to spend more time with them. I'm the one who hosted every holiday, fixed her dad's computer countless times, helped her brother move apartments, lent her sister money for car repairs. The tide is turning, though. The PI she hired, he contacted my lawyer. Turns out she tried to stiff him on the final $3,200 payment. When he refused to fabricate evidence, she said she wouldn't pay for useless work. He's willing to testify about her harassment, has recordings of her calls where she offered him a bonus to find something, anything. Still at the hotel. Still processing that the woman I love turned into this. More updates coming. Update 2 posted 5 days later. The mask is completely fallen off. Rachel and her family are showing their true colors, and it's uglier than I imagined. Yesterday, Rachel showed up at my workplace with her mom and sister. Full drama mode. They caused a scene in the lobby, screaming that I was a cheating bastard who abandoned his wife. Rachel was crying hysterically. Her mom was yelling about me being a pathological liar, and her sister was recording everything on her phone. Our receptionist called security while trying to calm them down. Rachel literally threw herself on the floor, wailing, "How could you do this to me?" Security had to physically escort them out. My boss was not happy, but thankfully, he knows me well enough to see through their BS. Several co-workers witnessed everything. One of them, Sarah from my department, came to my office after. "Dude, your wife has lost it. She kept screaming about you having an affair with someone named Melissa." "Who's Melissa?" "No idea. There's no Melissa on our team, and I don't know any Melissa period." Then I got a call from my bank. Someone tried to apply for a credit card in my name. Guess who? Yep, Rachel used my SSN and forged my signature. That's identity theft, folks. The bank caught it because they needed additional verification. But the real kicker. Her mom called my elderly parents, they live in Florida, and told them I was having a mental breakdown and needed to be committed. She said I was dangerously unstable and had threatened Rachel's life. My mom has heart problems. She ended up in the ER from the stress. That was my breaking point. I went nuclear. Filed a police report for the identity theft, got a restraining order against Rachel and her mom, and my lawyer added harassment charges to our case. Also contacted the PI licensing board about Rachel's threats against the investigator. The PI came through big time. He had recordings of Rachel's calls where she offered him an extra $5,000 to plant evidence. She actually said, "Just give me some photos, I don't care how." He also had texts where she admitted to installing the GPS tracker and asked him to hack my work computer. Remember the $7,832 she drained? Turns out she used $2,500 of it to hire another PI. This second PI actually called me, apologizing. He said he did a preliminary investigation, found nothing, and when she pushed for him to manufacture evidence, he refunded her the money and told her to seek professional help. His exact words, "Ma'am, I've been doing this for 15 years. Your husband is either the most boring man alive or completely faithful. I'm betting on both. So she still has about $5,300 of our money somewhere. My lawyer says we'll get it back in the divorce settlement." Her mom is now facing charges for the illegal surveillance since it was in her name. Rachel is looking at identity theft, harassment, and filing false reports. Today, her divorce lawyer dropped her as a client. Apparently, she lied to him about everything, and he only found out when my lawyer sent over our evidence. He called my lawyer personally to apologize for wasting everyone's time. Her family is still defending her. Her dad posted on LinkedIn, that I'm a master manipulator who turned his daughter into a criminal. He wrote this whole essay about how I gaslit Rachel into defending herself. Sure, buddy. I made her hire PIs and commit felonies. The comments weren't kind. Several of his professional contacts called him out. One wrote, "Robert, your daughter committed multiple crimes. Take the L and get her help. Her brother tried to intimidate me at the grocery store. Followed me around, making threats under his breath. I called the cops, added him to the restraining order. He's now banned from coming within 500 feet of me. Temporary hearing next week, final divorce hearing in 3 months. My lawyer says with all the evidence, this should be straightforward. I'm done feeling sorry for her. She made her choices. The woman I married doesn't exist anymore. Maybe she never did." Final update posted 3 months later. The divorce is final. Here's how it went down. Rachel showed up looking rough. Hair unwashed, clothes wrinkled. Her new lawyer, some budget attorney who seemed overwhelmed, tried to argue that her actions were driven by love and concern. The judge wasn't buying it. When my lawyer presented the evidence, the GPS tracker, the hidden cameras, the PI testimonies, the identity theft, you could see her lawyer's face fall. He clearly had no idea about most of it. He kept shuffling through papers, looking increasingly panicked. The judge was particularly interested in the recordings of Rachel trying to bribe the PI to plant evidence. Her lawyer actually tried to argue those were taken out of context. The judge asked what possible context would justify paying someone to frame your spouse for infidelity. Rachel lost it. Started screaming that I had driven her to this with my suspicious behavior. When asked what suspicious behavior, she couldn't give a single concrete example beyond, he worked late sometimes, and he was always on his phone. The judge, Mrs. Last Name, did you ever consider that your husband might be working? Rachel, he's lying. I know he's been cheating. A wife knows these things. Judge, do you have any evidence of infidelity? Rachel, he's too good at hiding it. The judge had to call for orders several times. The ruling, divorce granted in my favor. She has to pay me $15,000 in damages for the identity theft and harassment. Restraining order extended for 2 years. She gets 30% of her assets, would have been 50%, but the judge factored in her misconduct. She must return the $5,300 from the joint account. She has to pay my legal fees, $8,500. Criminal charges pending in separate court. Best moment, when the judge told her, "Mrs. Last Name, your paranoia and criminal behavior destroyed your marriage, not your husband's imaginary infidelity. You violated his privacy, committed fraud, and harassed his family. You're fortunate the criminal proceedings are separate from this court." Rachel tried to approach me after court. Her lawyer had to physically hold her back as she screamed that I ruined her life. Her family wasn't in court except Eleanor, who had to attend due to her own charges. The rest stopped supporting her when the evidence came out. Her dad actually sent me a formal apology letter through his lawyer, probably trying to minimize his own liability for the defamation. I'm in my new apartment now. Got that promotion at work. Started therapy to process all this. To everyone saying I should have just talked to her when I found the tracker, you're missing the point. This wasn't about one GPS device. This was about a pattern of escalating criminal behavior. She didn't just cross a line, she obliterated it. For those asking if there were red flags, Looking back, maybe. She was always anxious about me working late, but I thought it was normal concern. The possessiveness seemed like love at the time. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for following this insane journey. Time to actually live my life. P.S. The P.I. she stiffed? He successfully sued her in small claims court for the $3,200 plus interest and court fees. Eleanor had to plead guilty to misdemeanor charges and got probation plus fines. Rachel's identity theft case is still pending. Her lawyer is trying to plead it down. Edit, for everyone asking, no, I never cheated. Never even came close. I literally just worked late on a software deployment project. The evidence she was so desperate to find never existed. That's what makes this whole thing so tragically stupid. Edit 2. Just found out through mutual friends that Rachel's been telling people I had a secret girlfriend named Melissa. There is no Melissa. Never was. The delusion is real, folks. Stay safe out there.